Hi, good morning, team, and welcome to our Vigil team Zoom call for December 17th, 2024. And the first question I ask is, does anyone want to meet next week? It is going to be Christmas Eve. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to meet. So let's not meet next week, okay? But we will probably meet the week after that. Let me look at the date real quick just so I can. Oh, that's New Year's Eve. Yeah, we'll meet on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is actually a solid day. And the reason why is because I want to get your guys' goals for 2025. Okay. That way we have a fresh start going into the year. You don't have to attend, obviously, guys, right? This meeting is never mandatory. It's always volunteer, right? So we are a volunteer army and we're in business for ourselves, not by ourselves, right? So couple of quick congratulations. Where's Mr. Turpin at? He promised me he was going to be here. He was having issues with his Zoom though this morning. It was funny because we were talking and then all of a sudden there he is. Speaking of him, uh, his camera was having some issues today, so I'm going to wait just a second for him to get connected with us. Um, but where was I going with that? Um, Goal setting, right? So he finished base camp, so we were doing goal setting with him this morning. Um, and guys, I keep track of you guys. Kind of, I do analog and digital, right? So I'm old school like Jeff, where I've got my notebook and oh, you guys can't see it because of the thing, the virtual thing. But I have a notebook that I keep track of your guys' goals. And then as you guys do things, I go back to that page and I mark it off, right? But then I also go to my digital tracker and I mark it off as well. Um, but Mr. Turpin, being that you're here, I did want to give you a shout out. So, Mr. Turpin was the agent that did turn in his application in the timeline, right? So, you guys all saw the text message and WhatsApp that went out. Any new agent that had submitted a piece of business before midnight on Friday, and I got to give Mr. Johnson, I gotta give it to him. I mean, he tried his best. He just had a couple of technical issues, but he was doing his best to get it submitted and issued. And Mr. Turpin beat him to it, and he was actually the only one that actually got it in time. So he was the only entry to win a $500 lead credit. So we talked about that this morning, and he's got $500 in lead credit coming his way. So congratulations, Michael. He also got a website. Then Mr. Johnson turned in his policies as well and got that, we got that one submitted yesterday. So he earned a website as well. So congratulations on that. One of the other things that I'm going to do, guys, and it's just because Julia will probably tell me you probably shouldn't do this because you're going to stretch yourself thin. But anyone on the team that writes a policy before the end of the year, I will create you a website. Okay. So anyone that gets a website, or everyone gets a website. I'm like Oprah today, right? You get a website, and you get a website, and you get a website. So, but I do this, guys, to help you with the tools that you're going to need, right? I want you to succeed. And we live in a digital age, so if you don't have a digital presence, it's really hard to be a reputable advisor, right? People want to see that you have a digital presence online. So, this is part of what I want to do for you guys that before the end of the year. So let's everyone get a policy in and let's help your pocketbook. The other thing I'm going to do, guys, and I posted it in WhatsApp for you. Anyone that hits the 2,500 for the month, or what is it, the 5,000 for the month, right? Brand new agent goes to 85% in January. You don't have to have the weekly writing requirement, anything like that. So, Matt, if you have any new agents that are not on and are sitting at 80% still and they turn in $2,500 before, and it has to be before the 27th, yeah, because that's when our cemetery month ends. Anyone that turns in $2,500 before here, or sorry, 5,000 between here and there, no, just submitted. Just submitted. Yep. I should go, but based off of issue paid, right? I totally should because that's the way that symmetry works. But this is just us being generous, Julie and I wanting to see some people get promotions, and we want to see some people get paid extra as well moving into 2025. Because for everyone on this call, 2025 is going to be the year of abundance. Okay, and I'm calling that since now. Like we have a word of the year every year with Cemetery, right? This year was connection. Last year was engage. I don't know what the word for 2025 is going to be. What would you say, Julia?
I was thinking you were going to say 2022, and I was going to say I think it's Imagine, but
You're right.
sorry.
Yeah. So 2022 was Imagine, 2023 was Engage, and then this year was Connection. I don't know what the word is going to be for 2025, but my word for 2025 is going to be abundance.
Is that going to be the new password?
It'll be whatever Symmetry does, honestly, Jeff. But that's a great idea. I like it. The reason we'll go with the other one is because a lot of the other calls that we'll get on will all use the same word of the year. You know what I mean? So like if you get on the daily huddle, that will be the password that changes to that. So I like to have a little bit of continuity, right? When we do this. So and guys, this will count for you as well. Okay. So remember that if you write a policy on yourself, this will count for you. Okay. We'll count that volume towards you. It's just a matter of us trying to get you guys to your next level because I mean this business has treated Julia and I well, has treated our family well, has taken us all over the place, right? And we've got to meet so many other people. So last week we did have Armando as a new writer, we had William as a new writer, we had um Michael as a new writer. And then we had two people that also submitted business, but they have not completed their contracting and Insure LC. So, guys, when you get your welcome email from home office, okay, uh, there's a place so step 3, it says Sure LC. You got to go there and complete your contracting. So that does all your contracting for all the individual carriers. If you don't do that, even if you submit business through iPipeline, it goes nowhere because they can't connect you in the system anywhere. Okay. And then when you do that, it also helps us keep track of those contracts for you. Again, some of the things that we do a little bit differently than most agencies, I do stay on top of all your guys' stuff. Like that's just who I am. Matt, let's talk about that real quick. The importance of submitting good business, right? So we had an agent. This was 7 years ago, about because I think it was February of 2018 that we caught it. This was a great agent, guys. Like this agent was started off great, right? And then Mutual of Omaha came out with this additional policy that you could add on top. And all of a sudden I started seeing the numbers didn't make sense, right? There was applications coming in and I recognized all the names of the applications. So one of the things that I do is I pay attention to every single application that comes into this agency. And all of a sudden I started seeing duplicates of all the policies, right? Well, this agent was going and writing second policies on all these people without their knowledge. Um, and
Hmm.
Matt and I caught on to it really quick. I mean, it was a lot of money that was paid out, but we caught it quick enough. But again, just part of us paying attention and being aware of everything that's going on. We pay attention to everything for you guys as well, whether it's good or bad, right? We're going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's that's the reality of this business, is it can be that way, right? So just something to think about. But go ahead and touch on that if you want to, Matt, because I know you get random messages from me like, hey, did you check on this or did you see that this money hit?
Yeah, and it's nice that you watch that, man, because I think we're also in go mode, and you really have that umbrella and you oversee everything. And when we caught that, I'll remember we were in Washington, D.C., for conference, and it just kind of came across our phones, and like yeah, she got paid out, right? Um, but at the same time, right, we had to cancel those plans because those people didn't know about it. So those chargebacks did roll up to you and I, and that was a lot of money that you and I had to pay back that she was able to take home. Obviously, she's no longer here, but being able to watch all that is really what, maybe that was also our learning experience to oversee and watch everything, what comes in. So there's just times where you monitor it good, man. Especially with mine. I mean, because I'll submit an annuity or advanced market thing, and 30 days later, you're like, hey, you're about to make, 7 grand. And I'm like, and then I go look and yeah, I am, it's like you're on top of it, so
Speaking
it
of
helps out.
speaking of large deposits, did you get a large deposit yesterday or today?
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, yeah. Oh, today. Yeah, I did.
Today, yeah. You
So
guys know
today,
how I know that Matt got a large deposit?
because you did.
Because I got a large deposit. And it's not like a super large for me, right? But it's pretty cool. And that's what I love about this business. And guys, this is where it can get addicting. Between yesterday and today, we had 9 deposits in our account. Some of this is from stuff that Julia wrote back in 2017 and 2018, you know what I mean, on renewal stuff. And then some of it was on stuff that Matt wrote 90 days ago that finally got issued, right? Because he wrote some annuities. I got an annuity that I'm turning in today, $156,000. What's my commission on $156,000, Matt?
Let's see, 156,000,
Yeah.
$7,800.
Or that's a 5%?
That's a 5%.
That's all you guys are gonna see get entered into opt. But what's my commission? 725.
$10,875.
Guys, that was from having a conversation with my best friend. My best friend is getting ready to change jobs. That's how much she has in her current 401k. She's not going to roll it into her new job, right? We're going to put it into something that we can manage for her. So if you guys know of anyone that is changing jobs, transitioning jobs, a simple question you can ask friends, family, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm not telling you guys to do it, right? Because you don't have to do that. But if you wanted to, it's an easy opportunity to find money that's just sitting out there. You know someone that changed a job. Hey, did you ever switch that over, right? Or you can make a social media post. Do you know what your old 401ks are doing? Does anyone have a 401k that's just sitting out there that they don't even know who it's being managed by, right? A lot of cool opportunities like that, right, Matt?
Mhm. That's, I would say that's probably been about maybe 70% of my business this year.
Oh yeah. Yep. So then the other thing I wanted to talk about, and Jeff was supposed to give me a reminder, the gumball machine. So remember this, Matt? We were in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 2018, and Tony Capistrano came to a coffee shop called Breve. Breve was where we used to have our team meetings. So we would meet live, right? Pre-COVID, we would meet in a coffee shop every Friday. And Tony Capistrano, who you guys probably know or don't know, we call him the Godfather or the coach. He's up in Washington State, and the guy has written 2.5 million. Oh no, he I think he just crossed 3 million. 3 million on his own pen, right? Built a massive agency, does like 25 million a year in business, you know, for his agency. And he came down, he flew down, and he says that this business, you know, he was doing a training on dialing, picking up the phone and dialing. And this is someone that was spending $60 a lead, right? So he was buying fresh leads. And he and Valerie, who I was mentioning earlier, she had just bought 10 leads that morning. So her cost was only like $40, right? So he's doing a dial session for her. He calls the first one, no answer. Calls the second one, sets the appointment. Calls the third one, the person says, I'm not interested. He picks up that piece of paper, he crumbles it up, and he throws it in the trash can. And Valerie's like, oh my gosh, that's $40 just down the drain. And he's like, guys, that's okay. Calm down. Calm down. And in his broken English, right? And he says, this business is like a gumball machine. Every blue ball that you see in there is going to buy from you. But when you put your quarter into that machine and you turn the knob, do you know what color you're going to get out automatically? No, it's a game of chance, right? But every time that you get a blue gumball, that person's going to buy from you. That's how this business works too, right? There's an equal number of colors usually in there, right? It's pretty equitable in terms of the colors within the gumball machine. You don't know if you're going to go 0 for 20 or you don't know if you're going to go 10 for 10, right? So you have to just stay at it. You got to dial those leads all the way through. You have to get resolution on them. If you have 10 leads or you have 1,000 leads, you call them. And I said this earlier before the recording. You call them until they buy, die, or do not qualify. You guys spent money on them, or someone spent money on those leads, right? That's a family that's asking for help. Call those leads. Your first 2 passes. So a pass is 3 dials, okay? So you call them, they don't answer, you call them right away. They don't answer, you call them right away. Okay. You do that twice. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon, something like that, right? On the third pass, you call them once, you call them twice if they don't answer on the first call. And then on the third one, you text them and you say, "Hey, Simone, this is Michael just reaching out to you about that information you requested." Leave it real simple. You don't want to elaborate on the text message. Okay. And then after that, that's the same cycle that you keep, right? So you dial 3 times. I don't care if you call someone 160 times total, right? You got to get through those leads, and you got to get resolution on them. Because one of these days, someone's gonna say on the phone, "Oh man, Simone, I've been waiting for someone to call me for 4 years." And it happens, guys. Jeff, you just had that, right? The
Yeah.
the lady told you, "Oh yeah, are you calling about health insurance?" You said, "No, I'm calling about the mortgage protection." And what was her response?
Oh yeah, that's the one I want.
40 years old. She's 40 years old, guys, and that she knows what she wants. But we won't know that unless we make the effort and get through our leads and get resolution on all of our leads. And I want to give credit to Armando. He just popped on, right? He is calling leads that he bought back in September at conference, and he is going through them every single day, getting resolution on those leads.
Me too.
Guys, it's what we have to do. But you don't only get resolution on your leads, you have to add new stuff to the pipeline every single week. Every single week. You got to find people to talk to every single week. If you're not buying leads through us, you got to generate them on social media. If you're not doing it there, you got to get referrals, okay? That's what this business is about. So again, just I wanted to now that we have everyone here, so shout out to Jama Foot being our #1 agent last week. Brenda King, actually, she'll be #1 probably for this week, but she wrote 5 applications this week. For what did I say, 2,300 something like that. But Armando, Michael Turpin, Mr. William Johnson, and I know that Jeff has one coming in soon. I can just feel it. I mean, the guy's on the cusp. And then let's if you guys can hop on WhatsApp and just wish Daryl some get well wishes. He's been under the weather for almost a week now, and he's like me, right? He hates being sick. So like this is so frustrating for him because he's like, I just want to get to work. I got started. I want to get to work. And if something's ever going on with you guys, just let us know. Because one, so we can pray for you. One, right? And two, just so we know what's going on in your lives. Okay, like there's nothing worse than not hearing from someone and not knowing what's going on. Matt is probably one of those communicators, right? And not an over communicator, but he communicates. He lets us know what's going on in his life. It's just good for us to be able to know, and that way we're not bothering you either, right? Like if you have a goal in mind and you're like, and you say, hey, I'm sick or my child's sick or something along those lines, we understand, and we're not gonna harass you, right? We're not gonna hold you to the brimstone trying to help you hit your goals. Hey, we understand it's time to take a pause. You know what I mean? You get some respite, whatever the case is. So, um, anyone have anything else to add? Avi, Julia?
No, I think that, I mean, this is just a great time to honestly just dig deep and plan, not only plan for next year, but finish the year off good, because the holiday season actually is pretty busy. It
Oh
does,
yeah.
it does pick up quite a bit. And then I want to thank you and Julia too, and Bria as well. I know I've talked to Bria a little bit, but with everything that's been going on my side, and now planning for my uncle's funeral, it's a little holidays, yeah, are just as busy, right? So being able to say, hey, I can't make it today, which was obviously last week. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is it's not, it wasn't more of a, you're missing why, it was like, hey, I'm sorry for what's going on. You guys have been there for me through my mom, through my grandma, through my uncle now, like, I mean, years prior. So, I mean, it's just blessed to be a part of the team.
Look at the baby on the screen. Everyone wave to the baby. Come on, Matt. Why aren't you waving, Matt?
Oh, I was laughing.
We love having kids on the call. Seriously, guys, like that's one of the greatest joys that I see is when parents are able to do this business and thrive and be there for their kids. Like I think it's awesome. Like and Julia, was that not one of the promises I made you a long time ago, right? Was that we would get to raise our kids, without having to check in 9 to 5 somewhere.
Yes, it is. And I actually, seeing the baby or seeing, anybody on any call with their babies or their, big babies. I just remember Caleb being little and like loving to be on Zoom and making faces, and all through COVID, he's there like, "Are you guys on calls?" and looking over our shoulder because, he wanted to see everybody on the team. And he knows he's just as much of a part of the business as, any one of the agents because, he's been there through all of it and he's involved too, obviously not writing business, but he's involved with the, hey, mom has interviews this week or this afternoon, or dad has an appointment. He's going to be a little bit late to dinner, but, he'll be here in the evening to spend time, or, hey, he is going to make your 2 o'clock, braces appointment, or what is it, 9 o'clock braces appointment on Thursday. He's going to be 13. So yeah, no more babies with, growing in teeth. We have a teenager almost trying to fix his teeth or his bite or whatever it is. But yeah,
And guys, Caleb's so involved with the business now, right? The little confession, right? You guys are supposed to email Julia your headshot to get your business card done, and so we have it for our graphics, right? But Caleb is
hey,
actually starting to take over that responsibility, right? Because that's Julia is fully contracted now as well, guys, and she'll be getting business submitted as well. It's just something to prove the model is, just as well. Like, hey, look, this business works for anyone, you know. But yeah, I mean, so Caleb's going to start doing graphics for you guys as well, just part of that whole team environment, that whole family environment, right? So, and remember, don't let your why be your reason not to do this business. Do you care to elaborate on that, Matt?
Yeah, when you got into this business to be able to be at home, not miss, Caleb's, baseball games, his practice, anything like that, right? Be dedicated to that and don't let them interrupt you to where you say, "Oh, I can't dial today because the kids are up, because the kids are making noise," treat it like a business. It's yours. I know a lot of times, again, I go back to Shania, when she put her headphone in, her little one knew mom's working, um, lo and behold, her daughter dropped, I think, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich all over, made a very big mess. And she said, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" And she said, "Well, because your headphones were on." So how could she be mad? Like she's doing it perfect, so don't put that avoidance in, do it for them.
Yes, sir. And then just as a quick reminder, go ahead, Julia, and then I'll make my announcement.
okay. Well, I was gonna say, and Matt has always said this, but it's always stuck with me. Find, yes, we're doing this business, but it's the hobby, what is it, that makes you money, that keeps you healthy and keeps you happy, right? So don't let this business like completely consume you and be the reason why you're also not doing the things that you love to do and you want to do. You can't sit behind a desk all day and stare at a computer screen. You need to get out and, take the baby to the park or go for a walk or go,
Go
do
play
something,
cornhole.
or go play cornhole. You know, um, you need to do something that makes you happy. Need to do something that keeps you healthy. And you need to do something that also gets those creative, um, juices flowing, like, whatever that is, whatever your hobby is, whether it's crafting or, building, whatever that case is, whatever it is. But that's always stuck with me. Matt has always said that. And, because sometimes we can get in one lane and forget that there's the other couple, the other two.
And guys, like, so Julia crochets, right? I like to create. I like to make websites. I like to build things. I like to play cornhole, like I said, right? But I also like to volunteer. Find a balance in your life that's going to help. Because when you work from burnout, you get burned out with work.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do it. Like you can sit at your desk and be busy all day and not accomplish a darn thing, right? You have to work from rest. And that was the hardest thing for me to understand. It really was. But learn to rest. Learn to get that respite. Learn to take your pauses. Build your pauses and your breaks into your day, into your week, into your month. Seriously. I promise you, it'll make you so much more efficient with your time. That's something I told Julia yesterday, right? Because I don't know if you guys know this, if everyone knows this, but Monday and Tuesday I come and work from our church. I am now leading our men's ministry at our church. So I come here, I run all my meetings like normal, right? But men can come in and have those conversations with me, right? So like when we get off of this call, I've got a guy coming in that wants to talk, you know what I mean? And but that's part of me built in my cup, right? Is helping those other people that need that help. So,
And
and
I feel
you,
like that is why the goal planning, the goal setting meetings are so important for you guys to schedule, for everyone to schedule, because you can tell us, okay, hey, look, yes, I want to make $3,000 a month. That's what's going to cover my expenses. I'd like to have an extra, $1,500 a month for extras, whether it's going out to eat, going to the movies, going shopping, whatever the case is. But I also want to have, you know, X amount, I want to spend X amount of time planning, going to birthday parties or planning my friend's baby shower or whatever the case is, and being there for my family at least this many hours a week. We can help you structure your week, your month, your year, um, with those in mind, as well as the vacations. Like, hey, you know what, I want to plan at least 3 vacations this year. Okay, well, we can help you plan those. Not so much plan what you're going to do, but plan it around the time of year that maybe isn't so busy for this business, because what the last quarter of the year is like the best time
the
to
most
write
productive. Yeah.
policies. It's also the busiest for, Christmas parties and, family time and all of those things. So we can just, we've been in this business long enough to know, hey, what times of year are best and what times of year, may not be perfect vacation season, but maybe perfect vacation season for what you guys want to do, where theme parks aren't so crowded or beaches aren't so crowded, or, I mean, we went on a hike last year for New Year's Day and we thought, hey, no one's going to be hiking on New Year's Day. Whoa, we were wrong. It was like the busiest day to go hiking apparently here. But anyway, go ahead with your announcement. I'm done.
Oh, so yeah, tomorrow we'll have a new agent orientation for anyone. Recommend it in your first 90 days, attend as many as you can, right? If you have anyone that's interested in the business, guys, that's always a good opportunity to bring people in and get them exposed to what we do, right? If I ever have to do a corporate overview as well, just let me know. We have plenty of recorded ones available that you all can use. Um, and if you're new and you have not gotten us a headshot, please get that in ASAP. That way we can get those cards and graphics created. But outside of that, we'll have our Friday training still. Tomorrow's national call. Don't forget that. That's the 90-minute call that starts at 12:30 Eastern. Thursday is deep dive, right, with the sales team. That happens at 11 a.m. Eastern every Thursday. They also do it at 3 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. But they're two different types of calls, but good ones to have in there. And then obviously on Friday we'll do tech processes and systems. And then obviously you got Daddy Young on Sunday, right? And then we won't see you guys on Tuesday next week. But on Thursday, Caleb is getting his braces. So just be patient with us if it takes me a little while to respond because we'll be over at the orthodontist for that. But outside of that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Michael, can you stay on and can I share my screen?